Welcome back to another video. It's your boy Kyle, and in today's episode, we're reacting to all 18 special and forbidden bending abilities in Avatar Explained. So be sure to mouthful. So be sure to show Senshi Squad some love. And with that being said, let's get into this forbidden bending technique. Bro, I don't know. What am I doing? I'm an idiot. All right, my boy Senshi Squad.
In the world of Avatar,
what we talking
some
about?
benders take their abilities one step further by unlocking
Forbidden.
rare and deadly sub-skills that push
Rare.
the limits of what bending can do. For example, did you know that Avatar Yangchen was the first and only sound bender? Or that
Time out. What does sound bending look like, bro? Are you bending, you're bending the airwaves to cause implosion of the eardrums? What? How does that happen, bro? If I bend sound just right, am I blowing your meat off of your skin? Your meat off of your skin? Your skin off of your bones? I'm sorry, I'm stupid.
Avatar Kyoshi used a bending technique even deadlier than bloodbending. Today we're diving into every special and unique bending ability, including some rare ones that 99% of Avatar fans have never even heard of.
Right?
So let's start with the most disturbing and fearsome bloodbending.
Before we get too far, bloodbending is one of the nastiest bending art forms in Avatar, bro. Did I say art forms? It's not an art form, but I mean, it kind of is. Listen, back in the day when, you know, Katara was a young wee lad, you used to have to bloodbend during the full moon. But as we got to Korra, bro, my boy was bloodbending abilities away. They was, you know, anyways, continue.
Bending is the highest level of water bending that only advanced waterbenders can master. It allows the bender to control the muscles of their target and literally manipulate them like a puppet,
bro.
The blood
Ragdoll
within them. It's
absolutely
by far
insane.
The most terrifying and broken bending ability out of all bending techniques.
This just goes to show you that waterbenders, they are cream of the crop. If I had to be any bender, don't get me wrong, fire bending would be cool, shooting electricity or doing that concussion stuff, but nah, water bending, because I'm blood bending your butt out my way.
Which is why it was eventually outlawed after the formation of Republic City. Bloodbending was first discovered by a waterbender named Hama, who used it to escape a Fire Nation prison during a full moon.
But during the full moon,
immense power and precision required, it can usually only be performed during a full moon.
But see, that's the beauty of Korra, bro. A lot of y'all be over here like, Avatar: The Last Airbender is the best. Hey, listen. I think Avatar: The Last Airbender is the best. But the evolution of bending in Korra, the Legend of Korra, was we had people literally metal bending, something Toph created herself. You know what I'm saying? And we had a whole police force of metal benders led by Toph. Come on, bro. Evolution. Things only evolve over time. It's like football now, then and now. Or basketball.
When a waterbender's abilities are at their strongest. Later in the Legend of Korra, we saw a few extremely talented waterbenders like Amun, Yakon, and Tarlok.
But they were all related.
Bloodbending at will, without the aid of the full moon. Amun and Yakon took this art to the next level, as they were related. To use it without using their arms.
From their father Yakon.
Yakon's bloodbending ability was so broken.
Is that how you say it? I thought it was Yakon.
Use it on dozens of people at the same time and make them unconscious.
See, that's the crazy thing, bro, because he bent the heck out of Aang. Do y'all remember that flashback? And he had Aang, like, bro, I look crazy. Wow, I look crazy. My bad, yo.
In fact, if it weren't for the Avatar state, Aang would have lost to him during their encounter. Later, Yakon's son Noatak, aka Amun, pushed bloodbending even further and developed the ability to remove a person's bending entirely.
Essentially, he was like blocking their
Katara,
chi.
Who's regarded as one of the most skilled healers in the world, was powerless to reverse this overpowered technique. The only known way to restore bending stripped by Amon is through energy bending, which only the Avatar and Lion Turtles can master. The next subskill of waterbending is healing. Which, as the name suggests, allows the bender to heal physical wounds, either on themselves or on others. By using water as a catalyst, the healer can redirect energy paths.
Imagine you got the elite level skills to bloodbend, but then you also got the elite level skills. I want to be the Avatar that is from the Water Nation, bro. Ain't nobody stopping me. Who gonna stop me? Come on, bro.
Out the body, focusing more energy into an injured area and allowing it to heal faster. The effectiveness of healing doesn't just depend on the skill of the healer, but also on the quality of the water being used.
My man ended up, when they did the spirit world stuff,
the spirit oasis in the North Pole,
he ended up getting airbending.
Aang after he was fatally wounded by Azula's lightning. Though healing is effective in many situations, it has its limits. It can't cure internal wounds, scars, birth defects, or restore bending abilities that were taken away through bloodbending, like I just mentioned. So basically, it's mostly effective against fresh external injuries. It can be used to ease certain forms of mental distress too.
Time out. I'm just sitting here thinking, right? The human body, they're able to blood bend, right? Because the human body, not just the blood, but human body is like mostly water, right, bro? Imagine if you take the water out of the brain, bro. Yoink. Bro, could you imagine how violent that death would be?
Like when Katara helped Jet in restoring
she
his
could have really messed him up.
He was brainwashed by the Dai Li. Now, when it comes to powerful healers, the first name that comes to mind for most Avatar fans is Katara. However, in the comics and novels, we learned that Avatar Yang Chen was also a skilled healer and treated a wide range of serious injuries.
That's crazy.
Time. But in my opinion, the best healer in the entire Avatar universe was a girl named Atuat. Atuat was a doctor from the Northern Water Tribe, known for bringing people back from the brink of death with her advanced healing techniques.
That's crazy.
One of her most unique skills involved lowering a person's body temperature to slow down the process of death itself. This method is extremely hard to master.
Wow, so they were over here
control and
bringing body temp down to heal better?
Atuat
That's
eventually
crazy.
meets Avatar Kyoshi and teaches her how to heal, including the delicate technique of slowing death by lowering a person's body temperature. But Kyoshi, being Kyoshi, she ended up using that knowledge for the exact opposite purpose,
to kill,
speeding up death.
That's crazy.
And that, my friends, brings us to the next special bending type of
what
water
is this?
benders: heart freezing.
Heart
as far as we
freezing.
know, this dark technique has only been done by
bro. Imagine you go out by getting your heart frozen.
Avatar Kyoshi.
Lowering
her target's body temperature, she could freeze their heart
I
and
like
other
Kyoshi.
internal organs in
Big
order
old
to kill
woman.
them. Yeah, she literally took a life-saving technique and turned it into a one-way ticket to the spirit world. Classic
Heck
Kyoshi.
yeah.
Moving on to the last subskill of water bending, spirit bending. This rare technique involves using healing.
I completely forgot about
this.
Yes.
Negative energy into positive energy, restoring its internal balance in the process. It's performed by surrounding the spirit in water, and the process is complete when the spirit begins to glow bright yellow, at which point it either dissipates or returns to a peaceful form. But just like most bending arts, spirit bending has a darker side. It can also be used to create imbalance within a spirit by corrupting its positive energy and turning it negative. This twisted version can
tell me this ain't the most powerful freaking element of them all.
It has the potential to destroy the soul completely. In the Legend of Korra, we saw two users of spirit bending, Korra and Unalaq. However, the person who originally discovered the technique was a powerful waterbender named Makituk, who lived during the era of Avatar Roku. Before we continue, do me a quick favor.
Do him a favor.
We're working really hard to
like his videos.
100K subscribers and get that silver
get
play
him
button
that
by the end
get
of
him
the year.
the
Hit
gold
that
plaque, bro.
button if you enjoy our content. It would mean the world to me. Let's move on to the special
Okay, so now we getting into earth bending.
One of the most widely used abilities, metal bending.
Yes.
Metal bending was thought to be impossible for a long time.
Shout outs to you, Toph.
Beifong discovered it while escaping from a metal cage. She achieved this by bending the small traces of earth impurities within the metal. This means metal benders can bend any
they cannot bend platinum due to the lack of impurities.
Metal as long as it contains small traces of earth. The only exception is platinum, as it's so highly purified that it has no earth particles left to bend. Initially, Toph's metal bending was limited to close range manipulation, as she needed to be in direct contact.
Do you remember her, like, just starting out? I remember first seeing Toph, and I'm like, man, who's this little girl, bro? Why are they introducing this little girl? And I was young when Avatar came out. But then by the end of the series, bro, I was like, she's one of my favorite characters. She was so OP. She literally, bro, the seismic waves, she's truly like a mole. The originators of earthbending.
Or at least very close to the metal she wanted to bend. But over time, she refined the technique and eventually gained full control over metal, just like regular Earth. Following the 100-year war, Toph founded the Beifong Metal Bending Academy to pass on her knowledge to other
them all, bro.
Later, after the creation of Republic City, she established the city's police department, which was made up of elite earthbenders capable of metal bending without needing to touch the metal.
You know what they remind me of? They remind me of the Dai Li. Remember how the Dai Li, they were earthbenders, right? But they weren't metal benders. They were bending crystals. which was kind of cool, almost like Jade. That's what it reminds me of.
Directly. Moving on to the sub-skill that led to the discovery of metal bending, seismic
sense. Yes, sir.
Allows the user to create a mental 3D map of their surroundings by sensing vibrations in the ground.
Just like the
With
moles.
this ability, an earthbender can detect objects, people, and other features of the environment with the same precision as normal sight. In some cases, it's even more effective, as obstacles like walls or thick dust clouds don't interfere with it.
Yeah, you can't hide.
Just provide surface vision. The vibrations also travel underground, allowing the user to detect deep areas beneath the earth. It can also be used to sense a person's heart rate and breathing, making it possible to tell if someone is lying, unless that someone is Azula. Since the Badger Moles were the original Earthbenders,
that's what they were.
Also the first to use seismic sense. Toph later learned it from them, though she isn't the first known human character to master it.
Oh,
that
really?
title goes to Jianzhu, a close
I did not
friend
know
of
that.
Avatar Karuk, and one of the greatest Earthbender to ever live. Another known user before Toph was Yoon, an incredibly talented Earthbender and Avatar Kyoshi's most dangerous enemy. The third and probably most powerful
I forgot about this. A magma bending, bro, or lava bending.
Ability that allows the user to manipulate molten earth.
Lava bending gotta be low-key one of the coolest bending techniques ever, bro.
Bending was originally supposed to be something only avatars could master, as it's a combination of both earthbending and firebending. The three known avatars who could use lava bending were
Kyoshi,
Roku, and Kyoshi.
Yep.
However,
Roku definitely did it.
Changed this concept and made lava bending a rare specialized technique of earthbending. In the comics, we learned that the first known earthbender to use lava bending was Soon, a student at the Beifong Metal Bending Academy. And in the Legend of Korra, we were introduced to two more lava benders, Bolin and Gazan.
Yeah, Gazan was evil, bro.
Examples of how powerful and destructive this technique can be. Gazan was able to single-handedly tear down the inner wall of Ba Sing Se, something the entire Fire Nation failed to achieve in 100 years. And a few episodes later, we saw him literally destroy the entire Northern Air Temple. Moving on to the next special sub-skill of Earthbenders, sandbending. This technique is mainly used by the tribes of
time out. F all the sandbenders, bro. They over here, you know what I'm saying? Okay, maybe not all of them, but the ones that stole Appa, yeah, I hope they butthole burn.
The Siwang Desert, and it allows them to bend loose sand instead of solid earth. Unlike the other subskills that we talked about, sand bending isn't actually that hard to master. It's implied that most, if not all, earthbenders are capable of bending sand without much trouble. The next special and probably rarest subskill of earthbenders is glass bending.
That's a thing?
Confrontation with a criminal gang, Avatar Kyoshi was injured by glass shards that struck her neck. Surprisingly, she was able to bend the glass and
it's
just it from her neck.
Sand
this technique was possible
that's been hardened.
Glass is essentially just heated and cooled sand.
Yeah,
it really raises
hardened.
The question.
I meant
Why
heated.
Haven't we seen any other Earthbender use glass bending? I couldn't find an answer to this, so maybe you can tell us in the comments. If
it would be a nasty.
We've covered both water
final
and earth.
I would shoot it through people.
Special subskills of Airbender, starting with a rare one that's considered the highest level of Airbender.
Flying.
Flight.
Absolutely rare.
Was originally exclusive.
You cannot have any earthly tethers.
Turtle. However, a talented air nomad named Guru Lahima was able to unlock the ability by freeing himself from all earthly attachments. Flight was actually such a rare ability that it was believed to only exist in legend until Zahir also unlocked it.
That was bro, I remember my jaw dropped.
This after witnessing the death of Pali, who was his lover and last earthly.
My jaw dropped, literally.
Flight is an extremely rare ability, but what if I told you that there's a unique sub-skill that's only ever been used by one person?
Who?
That person was none other than Avatar Yangchen, and the ability
their airwaves.
sound bending.
Sound bending.
Dawn of Yangchen, it's said that after failing a mission, Yangchen became so overwhelmed with anger that she went to the beach and started screaming to let off steam. Her scream was so powerful that it carved channels into the ocean itself. The novel also mentions that one of her friends, who was nearby at the time, went completely deaf, even though he tried to protect his ears. I'm not sure why Yangchen never used this ability in battle. Maybe it was because
I don't like that style of bending though. I feel like that style of bending is kind of
instant win technique in almost any fight if she had used it. Yangchen could also use another terrifying subskill known as suffocation.
That's what I would be doing, bro.
Allowed her to
That's a nasty bending art, bro.
However, she stayed true to her pacifist principles and only used the technique to cause unconsciousness or dizziness, always letting the air return.
Pull the air out of their freaking lungs, bro.
Of Korra, we saw here use a similar ability, but he took it to a much deadlier level. Instead of simply removing the air around his target,
Nasty,
Zahir pulled it directly from the lungs through the nostrils and
bro.
mouth, then formed a tight sphere
That was
of air
so
around the
cold-blooded.
This
was the most intense Avatar I think I've ever watched,
the
bro.
last special sub-skill of airbending is spiritual projection. Master airbenders with a strong spiritual connection can project their spirit outside their body and travel
is that airbending though, or is that just the nature of the airbenders?
This ability allows them to explore places that would normally
because they are most in tune with the the spirituality of the whole Avatar nonsense,
while still being able to communicate with others. Airbenders can also use this technique to locate people they share a strong bond with by focusing on their spiritual energy, just like when Jinora used it to find Kai after he was captured by the Dai Li. Another known user of this technique was Manga,
what is that mustache, bro? Look like he got long nose hairs. What is going on?
All
right, my bad.
During Avatar Kyoshi's time, Mongol helped solve problems in villages near the Northern Air Temple by sensing what was disturbing the spirits and helping the villagers fix it. Now that we've covered all the other elements,
air low-key
special sub skills of
soft,
firebending. We'll start with
so far water
coolest,
takes the cake.
Well, probably not so cool bending abilities that Azula was best
lightning,
known for. Blue fire. Interestingly,
blue fire,
the creators originally gave Azula blue flames to help differentiate her attacks from Zuko's during their fights. But later on,
the lightning was cool.
That her fire was blue because she was a firebending prodigy, since blue fire is much hotter than regular orange fire. It's even stated by Avatar Roku that blue fire is significantly harder to control than
Remember, they were able
fire.
to
Speaking of Roku, he and Sozin were actually able to use blue fire, but only once. And it was while inside a spirit cave that temporarily boosted their bending. This just goes to show just how talented Azula really was.
Evolution.
Because
evolution. That's all evolution.
Or the most powerful firebenders were able to bend blue fire like she could. While bending blue fire is an extremely advanced skill of firebending, bending dragon fire, also known as iridescent fire, is on an even higher level. In the last Airbender, we saw this rainbow.
That's when they met with the dragons.
When Aang and Zuko visited them to learn the original form of firebending. It was initially believed that bending iridescent fire was something only the dragons could do, since they're the original masters of firebending. However,
wasn't that the first Avatar?
Was able to use this technique while inside the same spirit cave I just mentioned. The fire was so hot and powerful that it actually burned Roku's hands as he bent it and completely destroyed the cave. In the comics, we also see Zuko create a rainbow-colored fire vortex while protecting his family from an ambush. Now, I'm not entirely sure if that was actually iridescent fire. It could have just been an artistic choice to make his flames look cooler in that scene. I mean,
give it a little bit of different colors. Why not? I'm with it.
And
I think Zuko powerful though.
Zuko wasn't in any spirit cave that boosts bending ability. If he really had mastered it, we probably would have seen him use it again, especially in the Legend of Korra. You might argue that maybe he unlocked it after learning the true form of firebending from the dragons, but honestly, I think that's
a good idea.
Firebending is
lightning bending,
extremely advanced and deadly
super
technique
cool.
That lets the user generate electricity from their fingertips by separating positive and negative energies internally.
Which General Iroh, Uncle, he told us that he learned this technique by incorporating something that he learned from waterbenders. Okay, this ain't just a firebender. You see how they pull the inspiration and some of the different techniques from other tribes or other nations. That to me, bro, shows cohesion, and that's why it is so important that all the nations need to become one and unite.
It's also known as the cold-blooded fire.
Cold-blooded fire,
the purest and most powerful form of fire bending. In the past,
it's so nasty, bro.
Was so rare that most people thought it was just a myth with no real users left. For example, during Avatar Kyoshi's time, there was only one firebender who could generate lightning, and even in the last Airbender, only Azula, Iroh, and Fire Lord Ozai were shown using it. But by the time of Avatar Korra, the technique became a lot more common,
was using
and
it.
Even factory workers in Republic City were using it. As for how deadly lightning can be, if it's not blocked or redirected, a lightning strike will pretty much be fatal.
You're gonna die, bro.
The power can actually be regulated by the user. Like in the comics, Azula casually zaps
just
Sokka with
a quick little zap.
That doesn't
That's crazy.
really harm him. But on the other hand, when she struck Aang with full force lightning, it nearly killed him. And if it weren't for Katara and her spirit water, he wouldn't have made
we're gonna talk about the
projection.
combustion.
This technique
My
allows
bad.
the user to create powerful explosions.
You don't even have to do
using
nothing.
their
It's like they're
mind,
doing it
or
with their
more
mind.
Specifically by concentrating energy and firing a focused beam of heat from a specialized third eye tattoo. This technique is extremely destructive, as it can completely destroy massive rock formations and evaporate entire bodies of water in an instant.
It's
it can
hot.
also be used more
Hot.
precisely, like burning objects without causing an actual explosion.
That's
Kind of
actually
like
cool, though.
using a magnifying glass to focus sunlight. While some combustion benders like Plea and Combustion Man were born with the ability, combustion benders can also be made through brutal training programs.
Oh,
One
damn,
such
okay.
program, known as Unanimity, existed during Avatar Yang Chen's era and was designed to turn people into living weapons. The project subjected benders to an extremely harsh training regime, including repeatedly submerging them in water to the point of drowning.
That sounds like torture.
The power of combustion.
That sounds like
While this process
torture.
killed a lot of people, it did manage to produce 3 combustion benders, all of whom were eventually defeated by Avatar Yang Chen.
That's crazy,
despite
bro.
its
Think about it. These guys all wasted their life to just lose. You trained. You went through all that suffering and training to lose.
overwhelming
Lord.
power, combustion bending has one fatal weakness. If the third eye is hit or blocked in any way, it can disrupt the attack and cause it to backfire, resulting in the death of the user. The last special bending ability is energy bending, which allows the
Only
user
the Avatar.
to manipulate and bend another person's life energy. Before the Avatar came into existence, the lion turtles used energy bending to grant humans the ability to bend one of the 4 elements. But with the rise of the Avatar, the lion turtles stepped away from their role as humanity's protectors, and the knowledge of energy bending was nearly lost to time. By the end of the 100-Year War, only 1 lion turtle remained, and it used energy bending to
Where'd
pass
the
on
lion turtles
ability to
go?
Avatar Aang, who later passed it on to Avatar Korra. So what exactly does energy bending do? Energy benders can take away or grant bending abilities, and they can even restore bending that was lost through bloodbending or energy bending itself. They can also manipulate the energy within themselves.
That's cool.
To create an astral projection of their spirit, like when Avatar Korra did this at the end of Book 2. Another power granted by energy bending is the ability to bend spiritual energy. Korra first used this technique to save Jinora after she was captured by Spirit Vine, and later used it again to deflect a deadly blast from Kuvira's spirit cannon.
I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
The 4 elements
I didn't like Kuvira. I did not like Kuvira. That arc pissed me off.
Actually optional.
Okay, that's all the special, unique. Yo. This was a fire video, bro. Yo, big shout outs to you, man. I really enjoyed this video. If y'all could do any sort of bending, water, fire, earth, air, which one would you choose? I'm choosing water. That's just me, bro. I'm choosing water. I think I'd be the most deadly bender alive. Air would probably it's tied between air and earth as a close second, bro. You know what I'm saying? If I could obtain the ability to fly, absolutely. But I'm a water guy. I'm a water bender. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Go show the original video some love. While you're at it, go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next episode, baby. Peace.